What's up, everybody? Matt Kajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. Today, we're talking college basketball bets. Had a Friday, January the 20th. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. And if you're on podcast, please leave a rating and review over there. We are brought to you today by DraftKings Sportsbook, and they have a no-brainer offer for you, which is literally free money. It won't be available forever. In fact, it's only available through February 12th. So we need to make sure to take advantage of this. When you make your first deposit of at least $5 and then make a $5 wager on anything you want, any sport, could be one of these bets, you're automatically going to get $200 in your account in the form of free bets. To take advantage, just click the link in the video description below or head over to DraftKings Sportsbook and take advantage of that. $200 free dollars, can't miss offer. All right, so we're going to dive into today's games. It's a short slate, and we're kind of in the weeds, some mid-major games. One premier game, I suppose, in the Big East with St. John's and Nova. We're actually not going to talk about that game. We're going to kick things off with Richmond taking on VCU, an A10 game, one at the top with VCU. And it's an interesting spot here. Both teams are healthy for the most part, at least to our knowledge. We always have to worry about some of these mid-majors, but anyway, it should be a good game here. Richmond's +1, and that's where I want to look immediately here. You might be able to find a +2 in the market. I saw a +2 earlier on, and we took that actually in our premium Discord. So make sure to check that out if you'd like to. That's where we're always talking betting and giving you things outside of this video, including props. But this is an interesting spot because I think VCU is the better team on paper, but they're hitting the road here. They actually rank 86th overall from KenPom, but they have the 224th strength of schedule. Richmond, 104th overall, 195th strength of schedule. We know what VCU wants to do, and that's play elite defense, which suits most teams, or I guess I should say is a struggle for most teams here. But Richmond is actually one of the more veteran teams in this conference, and they're more balanced. So VCU is 26th in defensive efficiency, 133rd on offense, 196th on offense. So they're balanced towards the D. Richmond is just balanced overall, 92nd on defense, 133rd on offense. Richmond has an advantage in height. They're 84th, VCU's 186th. That's evidenced in rebounding, where Richmond's 176. VCU's outside the top 300 in rebounding. And this VCU defense is really interesting to look at. You know, I look at what they allow from a shooting perspective. They're actually 93rd in defense 2-point percentage, and then they're 178th in 3-point percentage, which doesn't really match up with being the 26th ranked defense in the country until you see their turnovers. They forced the 4th most turnovers in the entire country. This defense is skewed heavily towards them, and it's a Richmond team on the other side that actually takes care of the ball. We mentioned Richmond is one of the more experienced teams in the conference, and they're actually inside the top 100 in turnovers committed. Being the top 100, that means you're on the lower end of turnovers committed. So it's a VCU defense which lives through their havoc, lives through creating turnovers, but you're facing a Richmond team which is pretty secure with the ball, even though they have a freshman point guard. And then Richmond has the advantage in the paint. Not to mention, Richmond is an excellent shooting team, and they take a ton of threes. And again, once you're in the half court, this VCU defense isn't necessarily the hardest to score on. They're 178th in 3-point defense. And then you have Richmond, 40th in 3-point attempts per game, 98th in 3-point percentage. It's a very good Richmond shooting team. So I'll take the points with the home team here and try to buy this team a little bit low. Second game, Toledo taking on Buffalo. We got this at -3.5. I'm seeing 4.5 in the market right now, which is what I would try to get. It's probably going to move and go through 5. And another reason to check out our premium Discord, we were on this last night, and the reason it's moving is Buffalo has a key injury to Laquil Hardnett. He's out with a hyperextended knee and not expected to play here. Toledo was the rightful favorite, but, if Hardnett plays, this is probably a 3-point spread. With him out, we're probably going to see this close around 5, 5.5, maybe even a rogue 6. So I think we're trying to beat the number here as much as possible. Both teams suck on defense. We're talking about two terrible defenses. For reference, the total in the game opened at 170. This should be a fast, high-scoring game environment. But then you look at what teams do something well here. It's basically just the Toledo offense. 6th in offensive efficiency. Every other metric for these teams is outside the top 240. Buffalo's offensive and defensive efficiency outside the top 240. Toledo's defensive efficiency outside the top 240. It's actually 295th. So we have a bunch of terrible units on the floor except the Toledo offense. And now when we're removing Hardnet from the equation, this makes a lot of sense here. The one lone advantage you might be able to give Buffalo here is height. Toledo is 250th, Buffalo is 137th. But ultimately, I don't see that being a massive mismatch. Both these teams are decent at rebounding. You actually have this Buffalo team at 59th and Toledo at 113. So it's not drastically different despite the size advantage that Buffalo has. Toledo still rebounds fairly well. And then as far as experience goes, Buffalo's been a pretty good team in the past in the MAC, but now they're young and they're losing one of their lone experienced players. In terms of D1 experience, they rank 342nd, Toledo's 51st. Really every single metric pointing towards Toledo here. Then with Hardnet, I would try to beat this number if possible today. Last one we'll talk about, maybe we'll talk about something greasy. I know you guys like the greasy picks, but we'll go to the Mountain West with New Mexico taking on Boise State. This could be a little preview of something to come in the Mountain West. Two awesome teams here. New Mexico's a 2-point home favorite. Boise's taking money, and I like New Mexico as the home team. I'm going to try to back them, but this might be one where you wait and see if you can't get a 1.5, something like that. I'm comfortable with the 2. I took the 2 myself. When you look at these two teams, New Mexico, 46th overall in the country. That's their number per KenPom. Boise State's 24th. And then strength of schedule, Boise State 65th, New Mexico 161st. That means maybe Boise should be favored here if you're not considering home court. But I think there are advantages to New Mexico. New Mexico has played a hard schedule despite their strength of schedule being a little bit worse. This team definitely has the size advantages here. They're 154th in height, Boise State 228th. That's reflected in rebounding. And it's close. New Mexico's 36th, Boise's 52nd. But I do think they have the edge there. And then overall, Boise is another team that sort of tilted towards their defense. They're 11th in defensive efficiency, 98th in offensive efficiency. New Mexico is a little more balanced here. And I think they're a team that can capitalize on that, especially on the offensive side. They're also a team that forces a lot of turnovers and doesn't really create many themselves on offense. So it's a very secure team. Meanwhile, this Boise team's not forcing a lot of turnovers. So once you get in the half court, I do trust the New Mexico offense. They're inside the top 100 in 3-point percentage, inside the top 100 in 2-point percentage. Yeah, Boise plays good defense, but New Mexico should be able to score. In a close game environment, I'll take the advantages here with New Mexico, even though this should be a competitive game. I'll lay the 2 points. And that'll do it for us today. I think that's greasy enough. We talked about the MAC. We talked about the Mountain West. We won't get crazy with today's video. If you have any questions, any comments, a side that you like, let me know in the comment section. Hit the thumbs up button in the layout. If you'd like to follow on Twitter, I'm at Matt_Kajeski. Otherwise, good luck. We'll be back tomorrow for the full Saturday slate of games.